Well, hot dog, pal. I'm so excited that I'm here.
Hey everyone, we are here today with Bret Iwan, the official voice of Mickey Mouse. Bret, thank you for being here today.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Would you be able to start off by telling our Fan Expo fans a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Well, like your beautiful intro said, I'm Bret. I've been the official voice of Mickey Mouse since 2009. So 13 years now of voicing the mouse, which has, ultimately been a dream come true, but honestly, it's a dream I never knew I had. I was always a Disney fan. I dreamt of being a Disney animator. I studied art because of that. Went to school for illustration, got a job and a start in the creative industry by being an illustrator. And then out of nowhere, this opportunity presented itself to audition to be the understudy to the voice of Mickey Mouse, which back in 2009, it was Wayne Allwine. He had been the voice of Mickey Mouse, for 32 years at that point. And I just thought, being a big Mickey fan, a big Disney fan, and ultimately having the dream of working for Disney, I'd be silly if I didn't at least try to audition. And disclaimer, I had never done professional voice acting or professional acting at that point. I was a drama kid, like so many are in high school. I did the plays, the musicals, and the chorus and whatnot. But yeah, just acting and that part of the entertainment industry really wasn't on my radar until this opportunity presented itself. And like I said, just being a massive fan of Mickey, in particular of Walt and his legacy, just inspired me to take a shot. And so I did. And there you have it. I've been voicing Mickey for 13 years.
Oh boy.
That is crazy to hear the Mickey Mouse voice coming out of you. And so speaking of the Mickey Mouse voice, a lot of people know Walt Disney was the original Mickey Mouse voice, and you're now the fourth person to voice Mickey in the official lineup. How crazy is it to you to be part of this super exclusive club that was basically started by Walt Disney?
Oh, it's extremely crazy. And it's no joke when I say I'm a massive Disney fan. Like I grew up, I was that kid who sometimes opted out of recess to instead go and hang out in the library, as nerdy as that sounds. But one of my favorite things to do was help put the books away, because when I got finished putting the books away, I could then go and pull out my favorite book, which was a biography on Walt Disney. It was this illustrative biography. And I was obsessed with it. I just loved the story. There's something about the story of Walt Disney and his journey, from, just basically being a kid with an imagination at a time when that maybe wasn't as celebrated as it is today, to the man he became in the worlds he created. And I just found that approach, that journey, and that creative, imaginative field to be so appealing. Yeah, and so I've been a fan of Walt for so many things. For the artistic side of things, you can see behind me, I'm a huge train fan, and when I learned Walt Disney was a train fan as well, that was just another little symbiotic connection we had that I loved so much. So yeah, to get to do a job, there's so many people at the Disney company who are playing a part in keeping Walt's legacy alive. Everyone from the cast members at the parks to executives at the studios. But there's something really special about being the voice of Mickey, knowing that Walt himself stood behind that microphone and and lent his voice and his talents to making Mickey come to life. And that's never been lost on me. It's always been a little intimidating. There's still over a decade into this, there's still pressure to uphold that legacy. Yeah, I unfortunately, the way things worked out, I never got to understudy with Wayne. Like I mentioned, I auditioned to be his understudy. He passed away during that process, and so then I was kind of brought in and cast at the time when Mickey just had to kind of keep working. Yeah. But I got to know Wayne a lot through his friends, the people who were close to him, who worked with him, especially his wife, Russi Taylor, who was the voice of Minnie for so many years. But also just by watching archived interviews, and I noticed in a few interviews, Wayne made a point to always talk about his predecessor, Jimmy McDonald, and the advice he gave to Wayne when he said, "Now remember, kid, you're only filling in for the boss.
Yeah.
meaning Walt Disney, and I think that's a really important distinction to be made for myself or to anybody who has the honor of voicing Mickey in this capacity in the future is, we're really just filling in for the boss. We're just filling in for Walt to ensure that his character and his legacy and the core values of Mickey stay the same, and that Mickey is just as viable and loved as he was in 1928, now and far into the future. So just filling in for the boss.
I love that. I love filling in for the boss. I think that's such a good way to describe what you do, is you're just filling in for Walt Disney. It's especially like, I think who had my job before me, and it's just another marketing person, but you think who had your job 3 before you, and it's the Walt Disney. Like, the pressure of that is insane.
It's an intimidating legacy for sure. One that, people often ask me like, man, you just must like wake up every day thinking about how cool this job is. And I do, I don't get me wrong. I wake up every day continually thankful for the life that I'm so blessed to have. But honestly, it's like if I was to live in that moment of thinking about just how important and how big Mickey is, I think I would live a life of like timidity, just hiding in a corner, so I have to distract myself with my other interests and my other parts of life, because it can get a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of expectations when it comes to Mickey. You don't want to mess him up.
Oh, 100%. Okay, so you mentioned in that a little bit that you started as an artist, which I mean also Walt did, so another connection there. And then you became the voice of Mickey. And then you've combined that. I'm pretty sure you're wearing it. You combined it into scripts. Can you tell our fans a little bit about the whole process behind that and creating this new line?
Sure. Yeah. Shameless self-promotion here. Unintentionally. It's truly a comfortable sweatshirt. One of the best things about this role is I've met incredible people along the way, and one of those being one of my best friends, Ashley Eckstein, who I'm sure a lot of the Fan Expo guests and fans know very well.
Yeah, I did an interview with her last month. She's the best.
Yeah, and Ashley kind of introduced me to some people at Disney Parks Merchandising who were working on a new line. It was an artist series, and they were looking for artists who could kind of put their spin on Mickey, kind of a little bit more contemporary approach. And of course, knowing that I was an artist and also happened to be kind of close to Mickey, she thought that was a good fit, and the team did as well. And I was so excited. And again, back to that word intimidation, I was intimidated because I like to think of myself as a bit of a purist when it comes to Mickey. I think that's probably tied into that whole preserving a legacy and making sure something lasts. And so, to me, when I'm recording, when I picture Mickey, I see the little 2D animated Mickey that was designed and perfected by Freddie Moore, back in the 30s and 40s, from Sorcerer's Apprentice and The Pointer and those kind of classic cartoons. So that's what I see. I love that traditionally drawn Mickey. But they weren't looking for that. They wanted my approach to Mickey, my interpretation. And so I struggled a bit. I truly did. I was like, I don't know how to do that without, offending the qualities of Mickey that I love so much. And then it occurred to me, when I'm standing at the recording studio or in the recording studio at the mic stand, I've got a script in front of me, and throughout the process, again, because I'm an artist, I can't help myself. If I have a writing utensil in hand, I'm sketching, I'm drawing. And it's always been, since I was 5 years old to today, my go-to is I'll start drawing a circle, and then that circle gets ears or eyes, and then those 3 circles turn into Mickey. It's just inevitable. And so my scripts end up getting covered in sketches of Mickey, and they're often, influenced by the lines I'm reading or the mood of the scene or whatnot. Hence, the collection ending up being called Script, because these doodles are very reminiscent of what I end up just doodling, just little quick doodles signifying emotions or phrases. So it was fun. Once I you kind of had that epiphany of, oh, hey, I already do kind of a quick interpretation of Mickey that's not on model, that's not, the traditional Mickey, and actually has a story to tell behind it. I presented my drawings and the team loved it. And then I worked with an amazing, just a very talented team who kind of put it all together. I wasn't the one, I won't claim responsibility for picking this super luxe soft fabric. That's not my world, but thankfully this team, that is their world. And so they took my drawings, my sensibilities, I'm very outdoorsy. I like, kind of that lodge aesthetic, national park scene, utilitarian colors. And so they took that and that kind of influenced the camo green that's part of the collection and the pops of orange. And so, yeah, I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. It's so cool. And when I'm at places where people are wearing it, it catches me off guard. I seriously will see somebody, I'm like, oh, that person's dressed like me. Why are they dressed like me? It's like I'm used to doing things for myself. Friends and family will tell you I'm no stranger to merchandise. I love the idea of creating little like patches and pins and stuff. They're usually just symbolic of my own stuff, but this is really cool to kind of take that next step as a designer and Disney fan and get to design for Disney merchandising. It's incredible.
Yeah. Do you go to the parks and then see like you're walking around and people are wearing like the same hoodie you're wearing? Or
yeah, I have several times, and I've had a lot of friends and family members send me pictures of them at the park, and couples are wearing their shirt, or actually it's funny enough, my husband and I were flying back from Orlando, got in line for the plane, and the gentleman right in front of me had my backpack. and so I'm standing right behind a guy who has an MM Script backpack, and it says MM Script by Bret Iwan, and it's like my name staring right at me.
That's me.
And my husband's like, tap him, tell him who you are. And I was like, no,
I'm incognito.
This is very weird. I don't want to be like, excuse me, sir, I designed your backpack. And he's going to be like,
backpack. I'm Mickey Mouse.
He's like, no, I bought this backpack. I don't know who you are, stranger. Go away.
Yeah, it'd be so weird, but you're like, that's mine though.
It's very weird. And you think I'd be used to it. So many times when I'm with Ashley, she'll see people wearing her universe or something Ahsoka Tano, and she's so gracious to go up and say, just want to say hi, I love your shirt. And I haven't quite gotten there yet. I'm still too shy to do that, but
one day it'll be like, that's mine. Hey, let's get a picture. Do you have any new illustration projects you're working on right now?
Well, let's see. I have this ongoing, actually, I've got one behind me. This National Park poster series is something that I've been having a lot of fun with over the past couple of years. It's published by Collector's Edition Fine Arts, or Cyclops Printworks is their division that does these silkscreen posters. So what I've had a chance to do is kind of combine my love of the outdoors and national parks with Mickey. And so I'm doing these posters, and he's kind of blocked. It's kind of hard to see, but
yeah,
they are posters representing a location, a national park or a park someplace, and Mickey's always in them. Mickey's there enjoying those locations, sometimes with Pluto, but it's just kind of a little bit what's the word? A little bit meta. They're locations that I love and that I've been to, but I'm depicting Mickey in an kind of old vintage. WPA was the program that did these posters originally. So it's just kind of a flat posterized look. But anyway, been working on those still, and I think I've released, I want to say there's 4 released so far, and I've got a Joshua Tree and a Bryce Canyon one that have been finished, and they're in the works to get published. So yeah, you can find them online at cyclopsprintworks.com. And yeah, that's kind of the most recent design work that I've been working on.
Cool. Okay, good to know. I will make sure to link that in the article we write so that everyone can check it out.
Oh, great. Please. Yeah.
In the Disney parks, you used to be able to meet Mickey Mouse and he would talk to you and engage with you.
Yeah.
Was that you?
Well, let's see. I get asked that a lot, and I have to be very careful to, we want to preserve the magic. We want to preserve the magic. But yes, I will say I had the honor of working with Mickey when he was in Magic Kingdom at Magic Words with Mickey, I believe is what the program was called. It was an incredible experience. It was so cool because Mickey, a lot of work went into that to get Mickey ready for his debut when he was actually implemented in the parks. There was a lot of like rehearsals and actually a couple years of rehearsals and workshopping to get that just right. And it's really cool to be that close to the guest experience when it comes to watching them interact with Mickey. I often say one of the coolest things about this role or being the voice of Mickey is that you find out that it's almost like having a mutual friend, right? Like you and I both know Mickey, and so instantaneously we have something in common. It's like we know Mickey. Mickey's our pal.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. And so when you meet somebody on the street and you're like, oh, you know John too? Oh, that's weird. It's like this permission to like engage a little bit.
Yeah, you're friends
further
now because you know this other person.
Yeah, and so with that program, it was really cool to see just how special and intimate actually people's relationship is with this character, and you got to see some really magical moments of just maybe children who are just excited to talk to their buddy Mickey, or adults who are just like reliving their childhood and find this safe place in Mickey to kind of be vulnerable and express that. And yeah, it was, I hear from so many cast members who had the chance to work on that, and so many guests even who miss it. And it was just, it'll definitely go down as one of the highlights of my career because we had so much fun making that happen.
I remember I visited it a few times, and it's crazy because you would expect it to just be like, hi, how are you? Let's get a photo. But like you could interact with Mickey and like actually have a conversation. And one time Mickey did a magic trick with me, and I was like, this is crazy. Like yes. And yeah, just like you were saying, like now I have that bond with Mickey that I can talk to people like I met Mickey and Mickey talked with me. Like that's crazy. Right. Cool.
Yeah. And he probably took a picture with them because he loved to say,
pal, you want to take a picture together?
That's okay. That's like talking to you for like 20 minutes as Bret, and then hearing that's crazy. Cool. So kind of, I mean, that's a good segue. So I used to work at the Disney store, and
cool.
People would come in all the time and just do their Mickey impressions for me. Do you get that? Do you have people just find out you're the voice of Mickey, and do their own Mickey for you?
Oh yeah, people are not shy to share their Mickey voices, and I don't mind it, honestly. I think it's so cool that everybody loves to do that. Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, has shared with me several times that Wayne Allwine actually used to say, man, I do a voice everybody can do. And he didn't necessarily mean everybody can do it well, but everybody attempts to do it, we should say. I think it's probably one of the most go-to, like if you're doing an impression of a cartoon character, everyone's going to start talking in a high-pitched voice. So yeah, I hear it a lot. I can't imagine what it's like at the parks. I'm sure everybody meeting Mickey likes to do things, and that's something everyone always asks me, like, do you talk to Mickey at Disneyland like that? And no, I don't actually.
You walk up and like speak in the Mickey voice to Mickey. It'd be too meta at that point.
It'd be too meta, and all I need is for someone to be like, that's a pretty good, but I've heard better, and then my day will be ruined. So
yeah, you hear people who enter like a lookalike contest and place like third for them.
For themselves.
And you'd be like, but I am Mickey. Like this isn't like a good impression. Like this is the Mickey.
I know to keep a safe distance from that.
Okay, that makes sense. So speaking of the Mickey voice, then, do you have anything that you really love to say as Mickey?
Oh man, I mean, Mickey has so many great catchphrases. I think any chance I get to just kind of stick to those traditional, see you real soon. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Like I love when he says swell. I love, because Mickey is really kind of Midwestern. Walt was Midwestern. He's from Chicago, Missouri. And so Mickey, by connection, has those same things. He's a little colloquial, and so I like anytime that folksiness kind of comes out in things he says. And even though some of his phrasing might be thought of as old school, like if we were to go around being like, say pal, people would be like, why are you talking like that? Like that's weird. But when Mickey does it, it's so charming. It's part of his personality for those those little things. I mean, who says hot dog when they're excited? But you know, for Mickey, he's like,
Well, hot dog, pal. I'm so excited that I'm here.
that's Mickey. So I mean, if you were talking like favorite lines of all time, Fantasmic, the Nighttime Spectacular at Disneyland and Hollywood Studios has always been my favorite Disney entertainment show. And I grew up listening to that, and it represented so much of what I thought of creativity and imagination. So, you know, the finale line when Mickey says, "Some imagination, huh?" That's always going to be my favorite. So
That is crazy. That's crazy.
and then of course, you know, you have to have the laugh. That's, you know,
I'm gonna take
Mickey.
like all the Mickey things you said today in the voice and cut together like a TikTok compilation of the voice of Mickey says Mickey things. I think. Cool. Can you, speaking of that, can you do any other Disney character voices?
Ooh, I mean, I haven't done any other Disney voices professionally. We'll say that. You know, I will spare you and your audience and my colleagues any embarrassment from me attempting to do it. The problem I have is that I have so much reverence and admiration for the talented people that I work with. I mean, again, it's like Bill Farmer, he is Goofy. Like I'm not gonna attempt to do Goofy's voice because he's Goofy. Tony's Donald, you know, Jim Cummings is Pete and Pooh and Tigger, and there's so many amazingly talented people. I'm trying to think, like I did at one point think that I could potentially do a decent Jiminy Cricket, but I need to warm up, so I'm not going to try it right now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, Pinocchio. Yeah, it's I often get asked that, like, what other character do you want to do? And I'm like, I haven't really even thought of that. I really haven't. Like, I mean, Bill does Goofy and Pluto, but you know, I think I could do Pluto. if Bill wasn't feeling up to it for a day, I think I could maybe do Pluto.
You gotta sub in for a day. You could.
Yeah,
yeah. Cool. Okay, so I mean, we just talked a bit about the characters. So besides Mickey, because I think that's a given, do you have another favorite Disney character?
I think I'm just gonna have to say, you know, the Fab Five, I think is kind of, they all rank in a similar place for me. I was a huge fan of Aladdin growing up. That was my movie. I was obsessed with it. I drew all the characters. I listened to the soundtrack constantly. So Aladdin and the Genie, I think, are two amazing characters. I've actually gotten to know Eric Goldberg a little bit, the animator who animated the Genie. And I was a big admirer of his as a kid. And so the chance that I get to like interact and talk to him now and share that is pretty special. Let's see, like recent characters. I loved Coco, the movie Coco, and I loved the character of Miguel. I just thought, you know, that movie was so heartfelt. I left the theater bawling my eyes out. And I've actually gotten to know Anthony, who voiced Miguel, and I just think he's such an incredibly talented guy. And to have done that at that age, it's incredible. Like it's just so impressive to me. So yeah, I'm horrible with favorites. I like too many things to solidify one favorite.
Yeah, your answer there was like the Fab Five plus Miguel,
Fab Five plus this, plus
Yeah.
that, anything done since '92, and then let's go back to that.
Every Disney character ever, that's my favorite.
Yeah, like obscure Disney character, I would have to say Humphrey the Bear.
Okay, that's like a deep cut. That's
yeah, no, I love him. He's so cool, and I love his style and the way he was animated. So
cool. Okay, so my last question for you today is, what is your favorite Mickey Mouse project that you've worked on?
Yeah. Again, I'm just so bad with favorites, but Talking Mickey is up there. Getting a chance to work on the revitalization of Fantasmic, so Fantasmic 2.0 for Disneyland. That's very high up there. Gosh, you know, every project is really special. Some of them, you know, maybe go a little bit more under the radar because they're a toy or, you know, or an app or commercial or something. I think I've always had a soft spot for anything to do with the theme parks, because to me, that's like a chance to really connect with the character. Like Mickey is there entertaining, hopefully entertaining, all these guests. And so you like, I love it because when I get to be a guest at the parks, then I can sit back and I can watch, people cheer when Mickey comes on stage. Like, you don't get that rock star moment behind a microphone in a sound booth, but when you get to go experience it at the park and you see, and not in an egotistical way, I'm not looking for the applause to like fool myself and pretend that they're even for me, but to see how moved and affected people are by Mickey really just kind of solidifies why I love what I do. And it's again, getting to play a very small part in bringing so much joy and bringing magic to life for people. And so I think the theme parks do that well. So anything at the parks, I think is going to always be kind of high up there for me. Yeah.
I love that. Just on my end, my personal favorite, I keep these guys on my desk, the Epic Mickey series.
Oh yeah.
I know that's like nobody even knows the Epic Mickey series anymore, but like I've played that so many times I can't count.
That's amazing.
It's crazy. So that's my personal favorite of your work.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm jealous because I attempted to play it and I couldn't get past level 2.
Really?
Because I'm terrible with video games. I haven't succeeded at a video game since Super Mario Brothers. So
see, I don't even play video games that much, but that was like a childhood thing for me. So I had like as a kid, I'm like, I can't give up on this. I got to keep playing until I win it. I don't give it up.
Very cool.
Yeah. So when I found out I got to interview you, I was like, that's Epic Mickey. That's like my childhood complete right there. Cool. I mean, that was all I had for you. So thank you so much for telling all of our Fan Expo fans all about you and all about Mickey and absolutely everything we've talked about today. It's been an honor. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I'm more than happy to. I'm excited for these shows. So anything I can do to help, that's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one. I'll maybe see you at the expos.
You'll see me at some of them. Yeah. For sure.
Okay, cool. See you, man.
Okay, take care.
Bye.